Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 267, Peter, the First Pontiff. And so this is really kind of, everybody wants the Pope to be perfect. Everybody wants to be infallible in every way, but he's not. He's a human man. He's an imperfect being. He's not supposed to be imperfect or infallible in any way, unless, of course, he's speaking ex cathedra with regards to the moral norms of the church and certain church doctrines. But all that being said is let's keep the Pope in perspective, everybody. Let's not do papal worshiping. We're not a bunch of papists. We're Roman Catholics. And let's think about the first Pope of the church. That's St. Peter. And so Jesus told him, listen, you're going to deny me 3 times. He was like, I'm not going to deny you. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not going to do that, Lord. And so then Jesus publicly showed the world that Peter would deny him in front of everybody. And Peter publicly denied him 3 times before the entire world. Now, that was a good test, right? Like, how loyal are you to me, Peter? And Peter denied Christ 3 times in public to witnesses, which maybe Peter wasn't particularly loyal, was he? So then what did the Lord do after that? Well, he handed over the keys to the church to the man that denied him 3 times. And so this should put the Holy Pontiff in perspective. The Lord himself essentially picked Peter out of the crowd, out of the apostles, and essentially told him, you're not perfect with regards to your faith in me, but I'm going to entrust my church with you anyway. And so let's think about, so that should kind of put some chills up your spine for anybody that wants the church to be perfect. Christ's example before he handed the keys of the church over to Peter, his example was showing the world that Peter's not perfect, which should make you think, like, what was the Lord doing? And the Lord was giving us an example for the future that there really are no perfect men, but the institution, the church itself, is perfect. And the people, the imperfect people and the lousy priests and, lousy bishops and just really horrible pastors, and the church is full of them. The church is filled with hypocrites. They're not perfect at all, but the church will persevere. And what we need to do, this is what we need to do, realize that even the most miserable, horrible priest on the planet is practicing divine grace when he participates in the sacraments. Like, even the worst dude on the planet who happens to be a priest or a bishop, or the Pope even, when he partakes in the sacraments, he's exercising divine grace, which means the Lord can work through imperfect people, Peter being one of them, by the way, and create a large amount of divine grace for the faithful people of the church. And so let's not look at our Pope and think needs to be perfect for us to partake within the sacraments of the church or stay within the church. What we need to do is this: if our pastors are imperfect and they sin, or bishops are imperfect and they sin, what we need to do is go perfect ourselves. We're not going to sit there and change them, because when you want to change your imperfect pastor, you want to change your imperfect Pope, what you create is disunity within the church. You actually create division, and that's not what Christ wanted at all. Christ wanted us to be unified under the church, which the first person he put in the church denied him 3 times with his own authority. And so we're not looking for perfection inside the Roman Catholic Church. What we're looking for are the divine graces of the sacraments and a ladder to heaven. That's what we're looking for. And if we have imperfect pastors, imperfect priests, what we do is realize that they can pass on divine grace to us as the parishioners through inspiration of the Holy Spirit, and we can perfect ourselves, and then we could lift the church up. We can't do it if we're outside of the church. We can't do it if we're fighting the church from outside. It's hard to do if we're fighting the church from within as well. So all you schismatic and heretics out there, realize that your pastors are imperfect. Realize your pontiff is imperfect. Realize that everybody's imperfect and you are imperfect. Do you think, by the way, just think about it, people that want to divide the church from within, the hard right tradies or the progressive liberals, leftist liberals, or whatever they are, do you think any heretic or schismatic in the past ever thought they were wrong? And the answer is probably undeniable. No, they probably didn't think they were wrong. They probably thought they were absolutely right. And so those of you, right, who are looking at our church and looking at all the imperfection within it, well, you think you're right too. Well, so does every schismatic. So does every heretic. But the bottom line is this: Peter denied Christ 3 times. Oh, by the way, the other apostle, Judas, turned him in for death, right? So he has 2 of the first 12 apostles. One denied him 3 times publicly, and then he got the authority of the entire church as the supreme pontiff. And then another guy, Judas, turned him in for death. That's how the church started out. So stop holding your church to a miraculously high level. What you want to do is this: stay in the church, realize that imperfect people run it, realize that even your most miserable pastor gives you divine sanctifying grace when he gives you the sacraments, and you go perfect yourself. That's how you have Christian unity. And while this is Catholic Dad making you think about it, please like or subscribe, get the Mass, and pray the daily rosary. Don't leave the church, come back.